This is the plaintiff, Michelle Lawson. She says she agreed to let her male dog mate with the plaintiff's female dog, and now the woman won't pay her the agreed-upon stud fees she owes. She's a fair person, but the defendant's totally violating their agreement, and she can't be allowed to get away with it. She has no other choice but to sue the double-crosser for the $1,350 she's owed. This is the defendant, Tamara Puskas. She says her dog had complications, and it cost her $3,500 for a C-section because the puppies couldn't be delivered the proper way. Her dog ended up having 6 puppies, but the plaintiff changed her mind about buying one of them and is now turning around and suing her for a stud fee? She's accused of pooping out on a puppy deal.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Michelle Lawson, you are suing Tamara Puskas for $1,350, 450 of it for mating sessions, and $900 of value of a puppy that you want to be reimbursed for. Okay, explain to me. You had the stud?
Yes.
Okay, what happened here?
I joined the Schnauzer meetup group back in 2011. A Schnauzer meetup group.
Schnauzer meetup group.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
In 2011, and in October after Hurricane Sandy of 2012, I was contacted by the defendant in regards to mating my black Schnauzer with her female
How did
Schnauzer.
she contact you?
She contacted me by email.
Okay, do you have that email?
No.
Okay, what'd she say?
She said she wanted to meet and talk about mating her dog. Her dog was currently or coming into heat, and she wanted to talk about breeding the dogs. So I said, fine. We went back and forth.
Have you ever bred your dog?
No.
Okay, how old was your dog?
He's 3 as of Sunday.
Okay.
So she came to my house on November the 5th, and we were waiting to see if they got along. So apparently, since she was currently in heat, he sort of began the process. He really know what he was doing, so we sort of had to help him out.
Put a little soft music, a couple of candles.
Well, he kept mounting her head, so we sort of had to keep turning.
I don't need the details, really.
So
wait, what did you say? I do want the details. What did you just say? That he kept mounting her head?
He kept mounting her head. He kept mounting the wrong end.
Oh my gosh, that's what happens when you keep them all cloistered like that for 3 years. Go ahead.
So we had to assist them.
How many days were we doing this?
3 days.
3 days?
Yes, November the 5th, the 6th, and the 8th.
Okay.
And then she walked out of my house on November.
But wait, before all this, when I want to understand what your understanding was with her about what your compensation, if any, would be.
There was we had a verbal agreement.
What was the verbal agreement?
One puppy, a male puppy is what I wanted.
Okay, so you are saying that from the beginning, you said to her that your stud fee would be 1 puppy.
Correct.
Is that what you were saying?
Correct.
Okay, when and how did you say that?
I said it to her when they were at my house.
Who was present?
It was the defendant and her boyfriend.
And you?
Yes.
Okay, watch this. Did she say to you that the fee for stud service would be 1 puppy?
Well, we're not professionals, so money and profit and none of that never came in the picture.
When you reached out, what did you say in the email?
I described my situation as far as I remember, that I have a 2-year-old beautiful Schnauzer who's on heat, and we lost the original stud because of Sandy.
Right, and then you couldn't go to that person because Hurricane Sandy hit and you had no gas, and that person was where?
I think Virginia's.
Okay,
We
so
would have
now,
to travel
all right,
through
so
Jersey.
that dog, you were going to pay them how much?
$100.
$100?
Yes, because what she said that her dog was new to this and just wanted to see if he's capable, to get him experience. And I really just wanted some puppies.
How much experience? I mean, it's kind of natural, isn't it?
It's not easy.
If they don't pick it up naturally.
Then you just go like this, like a Lego.
We tried that. We tried that. And the dog was not, I don't want to have details, but it was not going. I was there. The first attempt was a failed attempt.
At her house?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But even before they began, I asked straight up, what are you expecting in compensation?
And her answer?
Was nothing.
And were you there?
Yes. She said, I just want to help a friend out.
I want to help a friend. You're not her friend. She never met you before.
That's what she said.
She's very nice. I felt like we connected on the phone.
Do you folks have any texts or emails that would help me to reach a conclusion in this case?
I have a lot of emails.
Give me all of the emails that you have. Give me all the emails that you have. So according to you, you say you want a dog. According to you, she says she wants that warm, fuzzy, all over glow. And then what happens?
I contacted her December the 7th, and I asked her, like, what's the status? She sent me a sonogram picture. And then she sent me another email with pictures, and she didn't make any mention of the puppy. She never asked me, like, what I wanted. We were just sort of talking. And
I don't understand what that means, we were just sort of talking. You're saying that you were very clear you want to pick of the litter. I got to tell you, you're not sounding like that's very clear if you're saying, well, we were just kind of talking.
I mean, we never really formally said, I want a puppy, I want a stud feed. We didn't discuss that. I just expressed the fact I wanted a dog. A puppy, that's it.
Wait,
and she said,
you did or you didn't express that?
I did
because
express
you are
that.
waffling like an ego right now.
No, I'm very nervous.
Does anybody have a picture of the puppies and the dog?
Yes.
I do.
Let me see that. Who was the original stud you were going to use?
It's another chocolate color. Her dog is black, which is fine, dark, but
this is
my dog, Jasper.
What's this?
The sonogram.
Oh, the sonogram? Wow, I've never seen such a thing. This is?
That's Choki. That's my
at the
dog.
C-section.
Puppies, how cute. Where did the other puppies go? Were you able to sell them?
Sell/donate, yes.
Your dog is beautiful.
Thank you. That's why we wanted to breed her.
She's really
And you know what's better about her? Her personality.
Wow. Well, does she like it? Do it again. What am I going to see when I start looking at these emails?
Okay, she said
Am
she
I going to
wanted-
see a person who's, what are you talking about? I was very clear. I wanted a puppy. Or am I going to see a person who's like, oh, I don't know. I think I want a puppy now. What am I going to see?
No. She stated that she wanted 2 puppies. She needed one for her mother and her boyfriend's sister. So I said, well, I just want one. She said, well, as long as there's more than 2, that should be fine.
Really?
That's why they were there.
Did you say that you would give her if there was more than 2?
I offered her if she would like to keep a puppy in case there's more than 2. And her reply was, nah, that's fine. So on the way home, we're driving with my beautiful boyfriend. I asked, what does that's fine mean?
I understand
So the
either. I
second
was, like,
time,
confused.
I asked her one more time. And she says, nah, that's okay. I took it as a no.
As it turns out, the puppy had how many, your dog had how many puppies?
6.
6 puppies, but your dog had to have a C-section.
Yes.
And the C-section cost you how much?
We spent $3,500 in about 3 days.
Okay. So it turned out not to be a great business deal.
No.
Okay. But, so now you have 6 puppies, and you want to recoup some of your loss. And according to you, after the puppies are born is the first time she says, I'd like a puppy.
One of her emails was, I set my heart on a boy. That was the first sign that she is interested in adopting one. And I emailed her back our situation that now, because of the high expenses, we were kind of trying to use the puppies to recover some. How does she feel about that? Her reply was, and you have also an email with you, I absolutely don't mind paying for a puppy. Don't feel upset or bad about
What planet are you
asking.
from? I want to be your neighbor. Here's an email from you on February 9th. That is awesome. I had my heart set on a boy, but since they seem to be in demand, I guess that may not be possible. Take care and see you soon. That doesn't sound like you were demanding pick of the litter or a boy.
So that's when
So you send an email to her on February 11th. Johnny and I were debating about what's the right thing to do now that it came up that you wanted a puppy. When we met you and you offered to help us out, you mentioned that you don't expect compensation. That night, we also talked about our motives, which was not to make a profit in any way. We wanted 1 or 2 puppies for my mom and Johnny's sister. However, things changed when Choki had to go through surgery. For all of the medical bills, we spent nearly $4,000 within a few days. Our expenses are even greater now. We are selling the pups now for $700 to $900. Even if we sell all 6 puppies, we'd still be out of pocket. But if you really want a puppy, we could give you a huge discount, half price on any doggy you choose. Or if that's not what you prefer, we could offer you $150 in compensation. The very last thing we would want to do is hurt your feelings or get you disappointed because you were so nice to us. Everyone's so civilized. I know you guys spent a lot of money, is your answer. I have no problem paying for a puppy. Who's the fellow next to you?
My fiance.
Okay. I would like a male puppy, and now my fiance is talking about puppies. He even picked out a name and was surprised that we had not discussed it. Was surprised that we had not discussed it. Why would you say was surprised that we had not discussed it if in fact you had discussed it?
I meant the fee that you wanted.
My fiance is talking about the puppies. He even picked out a name and was surprised that we had not discussed it. No one's talking about a fee there. So let me know how much you're asking, and don't feel bad or upset about asking. Jasper's pretty lonely. I would really like a puppy, so let me know. Well, okay then. But you had said half price, so the most it could be is $450. And then she gives you a deposit of $300, thinking you're going to pay what for the dog?
I'm thinking half.
$450.
Right.
So you give her a deposit of $300 when and where?
At her home when we went.
And then next thing you know, you send her an email saying, as far as I remember, the total's $600. Why? The email right there is very clear for you to remember that you said half price discount.
There's a few emails between that you skip.
I don't care that there's a few emails. Perhaps if I bang on the table, what I'm saying will be clearer. So let's just try that. In here, you say, listen carefully, half price of any doggy you choose. Not half price of the doggy you choose. Half price of any doggy you choose. What's that? No, stop. What's that? That's $450 for the pick of the litter. She gets to pick which doggy she chooses. And she pays $450 for it. She gives you $300 to be able to do that. And then what happens? Then you say, oh, it's $600. I mean, come on. What justification do you have for that?
No, we try to work, but we try to communicate.
No, stop. Why did you change? Answer exactly what I'm asking you. Don't just say the fuzzy things you want to say.
Okay.
Why did you change the deal from half price for the pick of the litter to $150 more?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So I'm just curious how you feel about people who breed dogs just to have puppies.
Well, there's a lot of puppies out there that could be rescued. They don't have to create more puppies. So I think they're just trying to make money.
I guess that's the question. Is it money or is it just stupidity that they want 8 dogs and God knows why they want it?
I think it's money. I think it's very selfish. They're not really thinking about the dog's well-being.
And you're going to get the last word.
I'm just going to say save the puppies. Let's save the puppies.
Save the puppies that are in the pound.
Exactly.
And not breeding new ones that don't need to be bred.
And don't forget to adopt black cats as well.
Okay. How about that? Going inside the courtroom.
The reason because I changed the deal is because I had another party interested buying the same puppy for $900.
What makes you think that you could do that after you've cut a
That's
deal
the
with her?
reason why I did that.
Oh, that's
I explained
that's
it to
really
her.
mean and bad business
Well, she
and
didn't say a
deceitful.
word. If she said, look, that's really mean.
She
I
did.
would've
She sent you an
apologized.
email and she said, I want my money back and now I want a puppy. And now you're
explained
stop
before I
talking and
accepted
listen to
any
me.
money.
Shut her up. Shut her up. Now you're in court because of what you did. So when you say, oh, well, if she doesn't complain, I could just take more advantage of her. That is not only unacceptable human behavior, but it is also a breach of an agreement that you had with her. Now you're what we call a litigant. You're in court because you don't put it in writing. Yes, you're working with her. You're trying to work with her. She comes up with a demand. You go back and forth. And then you turn around and you agree, I am going to take $450 for the pick of the litter. That's a new contract. The first contract, you could say bye-bye.
How is that possible?
Oh, I'll tell you how it's possible.
How is it possible
You
that-
don't know the law. You think you do, but you don't. Your act of agreeing to sell a puppy for $450, if you walked into a car dealership and somebody said to you, okay, I'll sell you this car for $6,000. And then you come up and you put a $3,000 down payment on the car. You think that they can say, hey, no, I found somebody else who can buy, who wants to give me more money for it. So I'm going to up the price on you. And now you're not going to pay $6,000 for that car. If you want that car, you got to pay me $10,000. I think you guys might know enough about the law to go to court, right? Because that person has your deposit and you have an agreement with them. The fact that you didn't need to make that agreement makes no difference. It makes no difference.
Here with me who heard us creating the third contract. Now that you educated me that we're able to do that, I know that if I can dismiss the first with the second, I guess I can.
Do you
dismiss
have a
the
new
second with
email
the
that
third.
proves it? Because I don't believe you. There's the problem we
No,
have
there's
now.
no email.
Okay, there's no email. Because I see the next email the next day is her saying, I am angry, my fiance's angry, I want my money back, and I want a stud fee that you talked about. Because this is what happens when you don't have things in writing. Everybody keeps thinking they can get a better deal. And what happened after that? Because I think that's the last email I see.
After that, she said that I'm not giving you the $300 back.
Let me see the emails. Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
She said, I'm not going to give you the money back, but I can give you the $150 and half of your deposit back, which is $150.
Are you all starting to see the benefit of having an agreement beforehand?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so what do you think is the appropriate thing for a judge to do, given the, what we call in Spanish, arroz con mango that you have formed, the rice with mangoes, where you can't tell where the grain of rice begins and the mango begins because it's such a mess. What do you think is the appropriate thing? Because I can't help but notice that you then come to court and you want stud feet and the full value of a puppy.
All I wanted was a puppy. I even agreed to pay her for the puppy, so she broke her agreement. So when I asked for my money back, am I out of money? And then I walk away with nothing. No puppy, no stuff fee, nothing. I don't think that's fair.
What's your name?
I'm Johnny.
John. I'm interested in your opinion.
We never had an agreement to give her a puppy in the beginning. Probably it was a lack of communication.
And then too much communication.
Yeah.
And then she's trying to get one up on her.
No, she's not.
Well,
I
she
know
kind of
her.
is. Once she agrees to $450.
I know her for a lot of years.
And she loves you and she calls you her beautiful boyfriend. It's lovely. I think you two are a marvelous couple.
No, we love her puppies. She gave her Choki for me for my birthday, for Christmas about 3 years ago.
You better be clear on what happens if you guys break up with Choki. Because I bet you that, let me tell you, I get that case a lot. So is Choki his or yours?
His.
Okay, all right. Well, she's clear. She's on record. If anything. All right, listen to me though. Okay, I was trying to persuade you, but that's not going to happen. So I am enforcing the contract that I see in black and white, where you say, "This is what I offer you." That's an offer, and she says, "I'll take it." That's an acceptance. If they had complied with that, you would have a $900 puppy that you paid $450 for. The correct measure of damage is not $1,350. The correct measure of damage is verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of $450. Good luck,
Thank
folks.
This is the defendant leaving the courtroom. Once you have an agreement in place, the judge enforces that agreement. It can't be changed later on. You satisfied with the verdict as it comes in? As she explained it?
Well, I could have used her own argument against her if she wouldn't have screamed at me to shut up multiple times, but I'll just take it as is.
All right, you head right around this way. All right, thank you. All right, so you satisfied how the judge enforces this?
Yes, I am.
Right. You made a deal too, and
Correct.
you got what you bargained for out of it.
Correct.
Okay.
I believe it was fair. No, we didn't really have a discussion. I was under the assumption I would just get a puppy, but that's not
what kind of way is that to make a deal going into it with no deal and we'll do it later?
Well, why would
look where you end up.
But why would I not expect anything? That didn't make any sense. You walk away with puppies and I gain
So
nothing.
specify, write it down, and
Correct.
put it in writing, and get 2 signatures.
That would be correct.
Okay, over to Harvey.
Okay, this contract was a mess. And, you don't necessarily have to be a lawyer for every one of these contracts. This is a pretty easy one. What you have to do is you have to think and say, here are the really important terms of the contract that make sense. How much you're going to pay per puppy, what happens if things go wrong. You write down all the stuff. If you close your eyes and just assume everything's going to go right, guess what? You're going to have a mess on your hands. And that's going to do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.